Most people struggle with budgeting because the system they create simply does not match reality. They either make it way too strict or they make it way too complicated, or the worst part is they base it on a perfect version of themselves that does not actually exist. In this video, I am going to walk you through the exact budget system that I personally use. This is a real system that helps me control my money. Without the typical headache, I completely avoid stress and I can consistently save and invest money every single month. If you feel like you have a total lack of control or you feel like you should be doing better financially, but you do not know where the money goes, then this video is for you. This will show you a very realistic way to fix that mess once and for all. Before we jump into the numbers, comment down below and tell me the truth. Do you currently follow a budget, or are you just winging it and hoping for the best? I am very curious to see what people do, because if you are not tracking your money at all, it is impossible to grow. I am not saying it has to be every single dollar, but if you are not tracking anything, you have no idea how much you can invest. That is just my opinion. But I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Now, before I break down the budget, I want to explain why most systems fail. I feel like there are three main reasons why people quit. The first one is that they are too strict. The second one is that they are too complicated. The third one is that they are built on fake behavior. Starting with budgets that are too strict, people create these plans based on who they think they are instead of who they actually are. They say they will never go out to eat and they will have zero impulse spending. They think they are perfectly disciplined, but that is not reality. Social plans come up and someone invites you to dinner or lunch and you are going to spend that money. Some people like to spend money when they are stressed, and that is very common, or maybe it is just a bad day and you had a terrible time at work and you decided to buy food instead of cooking. It is really common for these things to happen in the real world. When budgets are too strict, it feels like a punishment. You end up hating your life and you eventually quit. You want a plan that you can actually follow long-term without feeling like a prisoner. If your budget gets rid of all the fun, you will not stick to it. Then you have the budgets that are way too complicated. If a system takes up too much mental energy, you are going to drop it after a few weeks. Tracking every single purchase and updating a spreadsheet every 5 minutes is a chore. People start out motivated, but after a month or two, they quit because it is a burden. Most people quit budgeting, not because they do not care, but because the process is exhausting. A good budget should feel like a plan and a repeatable system. It should not be a guessing game every time you open your bank app. I want you to be able to have fun, but I also want you to save and invest aggressively. The earlier you start investing, the better, and I say that nonstop on this channel. Back in 2022, I was driving a 2006 Honda that was literally falling apart. I lived in an apartment with no sofa for a year because I wanted every dollar to go into my brokerage account. I was not being a martyr, I was being a manager of my future. Let's jump into the budget template that helped me hit $124,560 in net worth. I am not using my actual current numbers here, but this is the exact structure I update every 2 weeks. I structure everything based around 2 paychecks per month. Even if you are paid bi-weekly, you should budget on 2 checks. If you get paid every 2 weeks, there are 2 months in the year where you get a third check, which is just bonus investing money. I do not do a monthly budget because a month is too long to wait to see if you are failing. I track my expenses every time I get paid, so I am staying on top of it in real time. Look at this screenshot of a middle of the month paycheck. Let us pretend someone has $200 in their checking account and they just got paid. Let us say your after-tax pay was $2,000. Your total cash sitting in the account is $2,200. That is the starting point and the amount of cash you have to play with. I break everything down between needs and wants and the leftover money. Starting with needs, these are absolute necessities like rent and electric and car payments and groceries. I put credit cards in the needs category because you should be zeroing them out. This is the one category where you could really screw yourself if you are not careful. The rent plus fees in this example is $685 for half of the month. I break down rent to include trash and internet and water and amenities. Total rent for the month might be $1,370, so you save $685 from each check. If your electric bill is $100, you set aside $50 from this check. If your car payment is $300, you set aside $150. Now, gas and groceries, I do not split in half because I need that money for the next 14 days. I might set aside $50 for gas and $120 for groceries. This assumes you are a single person eating whole foods like beef and chicken. The sum of your needs for this half of the month is $1,055. Now for the wants, which are recreational things like Netflix and Spotify and the gym, these are things you do not need to live, but they make life enjoyable. Netflix is $18 and Spotify is $12 and the gym is $50. So for half the month, you allocate about $40. For these, the leftover section is where the magic happens. You take the $2,200 and subtract the needs and the wants. That is what is left over in the account. Below that, I have a section called the cushion. This is what gets me through if a small emergency comes up. I take the rent money and move it to a separate savings account, so I do not accidentally spend it. The remaining money for bills stays in the checking account. The cushion is usually about $500. Then you look at your saving or investing money. In this scenario, you have $605 that you can invest from a single paycheck. That is pretty nice, and it does not even include your 401k. You can move that $605 into a high-yield savings account or put it straight into the stock market. Now let's talk about the month end, spend, which is almost the same thing. You get another $2,000 paycheck and you pull back that $685 you saved earlier. Now you have $2,885 total cash. You pay the full $1,370 for rent and all the other bills in full. The leftover amount at the end of the month might be $865. After keeping your $500 cushion, you still have over $300 to invest. I like budgeting per Pascal Paycheck because it prevents overspending early on. When people budget monthly, they spend all their money in the first 2 weeks and then they are stressed. I cannot live like that, and neither should you. This system matches how money actually arrives in your account. One thing that will get you in trouble is the credit card category. If you run up a $500 balance in 2 weeks, you only have $105 left to invest. That is how the credit card trap kills your wealth. You do not need a credit card to be successful. If you are young and building credit, use it responsibly. But do not let it control you. The best way to stay on top of it is to zero it out every couple of days. It is better to have a zero balance than a big bank account with a matching debt. Having a leftover section and a cushion creates stability and confidence. Once that buffer exists, your money can compound and you start to build momentum. I invest every single check because I already have an emergency fund. My numbers are higher now, but the logic has never changed. The only thing I update every 2 weeks is the credit card amount. If you are not responsible with cards, just use a debit card and do not stress about the rewards. This budget works for me, and it works for anyone who wants to be consistent. It is built for real life, and it is not super restrictive. It prioritizes stability and spending and saving all at once. The best budget is not the strictest one where you never spend a dime. It is the budget that you are actually going to follow long term. I used this when I made $55,000 and I still use it now that I make 6 figures. It is effective and it is simple. I really hope this helps you take control of your finances in 2026. You have to realize that wealth is not built by luck, but by a repeatable process. If you keep guessing where your money went, you are basically giving up on your future. Look at the stock market right now in 2026. It is moving fast and you need liquidity. You need to have cash ready to deploy when VO or Sage D dips. Without a budget, you are just reactive, but with this system, you are proactive. You are the CEO of your own life and your income is your revenue. If your expenses are running wild, you are running a failing business. I was that person back in 2021 making excuses about why I could not save. But once I switched to this paycheck method, everything changed. I stopped looking at my total balance and started looking at my available balance. There is a massive difference between what the bank says you have and what you actually have to spend. Always remember that money is just a tool, and if you do not master the tool, it will master you. Do not let another month go by where you feel like you are drowning in bills. Take this template and modify it for your own life today. Whether you make $3,000 a month or $10,000 a month, the math does not change. Control the flow and you control the outcome. I am tired of seeing people get scammed by high-interest debt and fancy lifestyles they cannot afford. True wealth is having $124,560 in a portfolio and the peace of mind that comes with it. It is about being able to walk away from a job you hate because you have a plan. It is about freedom, and freedom starts with a boring spreadsheet or a simple list of needs and wants. I am here to tell you that it is possible even if you are starting from zero today. I was there too, and I know the grind is hard, but it is worth every single sacrifice. Keep your head down and stay focused on the numbers because numbers do not lie. People lie to themselves every day about their spending habits, but the bank statement is the truth. Face the truth and then change the truth by following this system. That is all I have for you today. If you found this valuable, then hit that like button so the algorithm shows this to more people. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you can join me on this journey to massive wealth. In the next video, I am going to show you exactly how I pick my individual stocks for 2026. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.